thanks everyone for joining, and let's kind of start the journey of understanding about this topic, and also we'll see the demo as well. I'll try to squeeze in as much as possible to keep up the time, but yeah, I'll try to give you the value that you're here for. Okay, so a little bit about me, and I'm a technology leader by profession, and by passion I do some of these things like blogging, speaking, and all those stuff. Some of my interest, and there are some details about my Twitter and YouTube channel as well. Moving on, this is what we are going to talk about. We'll first understand that what this Logic app first is all about, and why at all we needed this, and there are some details around that about other technologies which are similar to this called Power Automate. Earlier the name was something else, Microsoft Flow. How it is different, what are different use cases around that, and then we can have a quick demo about how we can build some kind of sentiment analysis using Power, this Logic app. Okay, and then of course we'll have some time for Q&A as well. Okay, so let's begin. A Logic app, basically it is a cloud service that comes with Azure, and some of you might have heard about managing workflow services before cloud world, like for example, somebody might have used about BitTalk, and there's some other kind of services as well, EDI and few others, where we can literally kind of automate our workflows. So Logic app is one of those offering coming from cloud services. That is kind of a SaaS kind of model where you literally don't need to install anything as such. You can pretty much work in cloud, or we can say Azure in this case, and you can automate workflows, and you're good. So this will help you to quickly spin some kind of automation, workflow automation, or you want to automate your business process. All those stuff you can pretty much use with Logic apps. So it gives you capability around both. It will give you the inbuilt controls where you can maybe do you can move controls here and there. You will find some bunch of default control to begin with, which you can use it, and at the same time, if you have any complex custom requirements, you can always have the custom workflow as well. If it is not suiting, if the given workflows or given controls are not suiting your requirements, you can also create a new, your one of your own, right? So there is a flexibility also comes with Logic app. Okay, moving on. So think about that. Okay, fine, we understood what is Logic app, but exactly where we can use it, right? So before even we'll talk about that, let's understand how it is different from its kind of, you can say, sibling, peer, brother, whatever, right? So you can say maybe younger brother, Power Automate, because it has a little less features. So it is kind of giving contrast that how you can relate these two technology that is out there at this point, and you can kind of make sense out of it that okay, on certain use cases you should be using Logic apps versus you're good with Power Automate, right? So coming to the users, Logic apps is meant for basically developers who are techies, and also who basically professional integrators, right? Because they're going to basically integrate a couple of or bunch of them, bunch of the workflows, right? So people who are hardcore techies, for them Logic app is place to go. On the other side, people who are not that kind of techies, but they are like they know overview of that, maybe business users. For them, Power Automate is good because it doesn't require a lot of coding. The minimum amount of awareness about system is good enough for that. Coming to the scenarios, so Logic app is meant for advanced integrations because it supports both default as well as custom integrators. At the same on the other side, Power Automate is not meant for the advanced integration. It's meant for the more of a simpler integrations, though you can also make it a bit complex, but by default the it won't give you all those custom features. So basically self-service kind of model. Some of you might have used Power BI. So it is on similar line where it is a capability being given to the business users who may not be too much well versed with tech. They can also do their job. So that is what scenario looks like at high level. Coming to the design, in Logic App, of course, we get all kind of capabilities. We can play or we can create workflows in browser. At the same time, we can also do that on our familiar tools like VS Code and VS Studio as well. Okay. In Power Automate, it's not the case because, as you heard, that it is not meant for hardcode techies. So it doesn't make sense that we allow that feature. So basically, business users who who are good with browsers. So for them, it is just supported in browser. Okay. Same goes with ALM, application lifecycle management, where in Logic App you have pretty much you can integrate Azure DevOps and all those capability that comes along with, right? You can have other kind of source control as well. In Power Automate, basically it is not the case because it is not a code doesn't come by default. So basically it is first you can try non-production environment, and once you're good, you can promote it to production. So there is no concept of, I would say, CI/CD or DevOps here in the case of Power Automate. Coming to the admin, so because Logic App comes with a lot of control here, so you also get different capabilities like managing source code because it is in cloud. This Power Automate comes as part of the Office offering, so you're not talking about Azure as such, but yeah, it is offering as part of Microsoft. Coming to security, so since Logic Apps is offering from Azure, so it provides a lot of security feature that comes by default with Azure. It could be audit, log, etc., Defender, etc. At the same time, Power Automate, it is coming from Office kind of offering, so it does have kind of enterprise security and all, but it is not that dev or tech kind of capability, so it has a limited logging capabilities. Okay, so it was a kind of quick, you can say, contrasting or quick awareness about similar looking like technologies. Because sometimes we get confused that hey, which one to use when, right? So it's a classic question. So nowadays, since more and more tech is coming, so it's very important that we understand the nuance and details of it, that on certain scenario, which this one is meant for, right? Sometimes we can use either or, but every tech is kind of comes with a kind of objective or the primary use case that is very important. One has to well versed with, because that is what makes you come up with a good design of and good implementation. Okay. Now let's talk about use case a little bit. So you might have figured out that hey, it is for automatic workflow. So you can think about something similar example, like you want to have some kind of event-driven kind of model here, like you want to schedule something that hey, if something happens, do something, right? For example, you're reading some file or you're some mail came and you want to do some action on that. So you can think about some of those capabilities. One that could be that if some file is uploaded in server, you want to send a notification, right? It's pretty common workflow so that people know that hey, it's done. So you can have that. Okay, once file is done, you can just have a mail task configured on our Logic App, so it will do the job. You don't need to kind of do additionally, you can automate that workflow. Okay. Again, few other use cases could be that you want to route and process different orders. It could be that okay, whether it's like it will be done in on-prem or cloud, so you can have kind of a decision-making workflow as well. A few other use case you can read through here, and it's more on that where exactly you need to automate certain workflows, and if you want to provide any notification to the end user customer, so you can leverage this feature. Okay. Okay. now it's demo time. So jumping to the demo, I hope folks attending this meeting or this session, they know the basics of it. So I'll not be covering about basics, super basics of what is Azure and how the dashboard looks like. I'll jump into the directly into. I'll assume that people might have seen this kind of dashboard, and then how we can navigate around it, right? So I'll jump into quickly the demo. So that in the interest of time, I got something created. So I'll kind of explain that, and I'll also run that, and so that you guys understand how we can do that. It's pretty easy, I would say. Microsoft, one thing is kind of common or pretty known, that Microsoft tried to simplify the technology so that it is easier for developers, right? So it has taken care, by the way, so you can feel good about it. Okay, so what it takes. So let's say we're taking example here about we are automating this, analyzing the sentiments from Twitter text. Okay, so that's the use case we are trying to automate here. How to go about it? Okay, you can think about that. I'm saying something about sentiment analysis. So of course, sentiment means one has to read through the text, understand it is good, bad, and give some kind of a scoring around it, right? So you got to get something like you guys might have heard about something called this language service, right? Part of the cognitive service suite of the services. Okay. So earlier the name was text analytics. Now they have they keep revising the name. So now it is called language service. Okay. So you got to have this language service. It is a language service that will let us basically read the text. Okay. That will come in the Twitter. Let me jump directly to the Logic Apps, and then it will be easier for you guys to understand what I'm saying. Okay, how to create Logic Apps, though in the interest of time I have done, but I'll quickly show you. It's super easy. So what you can do is you can go to Marketplace, okay, or you can directly search Logic App. Here you go. It's pretty easy. Okay, click here. Right now you can see one, but you can very much create a new one as well. Okay. It is no different than any other resource that you create. Bunch of fields you got to add, and you're good. Okay, so this is something that it will let you. Once you do that, you will get something like this one. Okay, let's see how this looks like. Okay, so we'll see the designer, because that's what will be visually appealing to us. Okay, so this again, a plain vanilla will have nothing here. Here what I have done is I have, let's do one thing. I can take a few minutes because it will be easier for you. Then I will jump here. So I'll show you something that what we get by default. So you will feel confident that it's not that bad. Okay, let me spin real quick and then show you. So I'll put global AI bootcamp. Hopefully I'll get the name. It's not okay. Okay. So I'll take, I'm sure it's not available, so that's where I do this. Oh, I'm good. I'm lucky. Wow, I'm lucky. Okay, Logic App. I'll not change reason for this one, so let's make it simple, and I'll make it consumption based, this to save some dollar for demo, and good. Let's see how this looks like. Okay, so we'll take maybe based on the speed and all, it will take maybe a while, a minute, and we'll spin something real quick. Okay, it's taking time. Yeah, it's doing. Yeah, looks like it's done so fast. Okay, good. So once you see that, you will get something like this. Okay. There will be some kind of video from Microsoft to make you, get a starter from that, and then see, that's what I was talking about. You get a lot of common triggers. Okay, so it is automating, helping you automate your workflow, right? You can think about the scenario. I was picking some of that where the list is endless, right? You want to send a message when there is a service bus queue. when you receive some message service bus queue, when you get some HTTP request, you want to do something. So it's like cause and effect, right? You can think about, right? Something happened, some cause happened, and you want something in effect. Okay. So I took this one, when a new tweet is posted. Okay. Think of like that. We can have any example that is suiting our use case, and so this is the kind of common triggers, right? But there are some specific as well. Based on the requirements, you can pick one of that, and if nothing works, you can always do custom as well, right? But I think Microsoft is keep adding more and more templates so that it is saving your time from creating custom ones. So pretty much, I would say most of it, or pretty much everything, you can get from here. Okay. So yep, you can see, for example, you can see some scheduler as well. So kind of use case you can think about that you want to automate. There's a good number of default templates already there, so it will save your time. Okay. Now let's go back. So now you got to know that how you can, if we create a new basically logic app, what kind of UI we see, right? So now just to dipping down, going ahead there. So I have done this one. So let's see how this looks like, the plain vanilla one when we create a new one. So this is what it looks like. Okay. And if I can open my one in parallel, then I want to see that you can relate to that how it looks like. Okay. So basically, yeah, let it open. So by default, it is since I have selected the Twitter one, so it is giving you it is kind of you can say control or drag and drop, whatever you workflow depends on it's like in some of those, right? So okay. So now what I can do is I can go here. I can take this one that is there. Okay. So basically, let's go there. Let's look into the design part of it. Okay. Yeah. See, look at this. So this is a new one. Okay. It doesn't have anything. This is the one that I have. So I have taken care. So yeah, you might have seen that I have added text global IT AI bootcamp. So basically, I'm searching all the tweets happening with this hashtag. Okay. What's the frequency? I'm searching every 1 minute. I'm based out of India, so I have taken India time zone time, right? You can choose. We can choose a bunch of them, right? Depending on from which one you want to pick. So let's stick to this stuff for now. So I think this is clear that this is clear. Basically, we got to link our Twitter handle, okay? From which account we want to analyze the text. We need to give permission to Twitter that, hey Twitter, please read my. So basically, we're giving permission to Azure to read our tweets from Twitter, right? So by default, Twitter will not allow anyone to read it. So it's a privacy matter, right? But out of this connection that we can see the connection, it is connection, right? Twitter connection. So once you create a new one here, it will go to your account and it will ask permission. So once you give, you will see something like this. So okay, it will link. So right now it is linked. Okay. So this is the first part, means we are reading our tweet from Twitter. Okay. What is next? So next is we talk about sentiment analysis, right? You just heard. So what is that? Basically, you got to read and you got to analyze it, right? The sentiment. So how you read? What are different fields you got to use? So tweeted by, who tweeted, and tweeted text, because text is where what you're interested in, right? Text will have the data that hey, global AI bootcamp is great, it is not great, whatever, right? So somebody is writing about it, and you will analyze. So this ID is like, you can say, key value, right? In I would say non-SQL word is pretty common, right? Key and value. So you can say it's a key, is the value. So value is being analyzed here. So what is the value here? Value is tweet text. This again, it is a connection to the one that I was talking about, language service. So again, I'll quickly explain how this looks like. So you can go language, yeah, language service. Okay, yeah. So language service, again, earlier it was all getting called as, cognitive services, but yeah, it's still part of that. But language service is one service of cognitive services. Cognitive service is pretty big, right? It has a bunch of things. So as you can see here, see here, right? It has a bunch of things. It's Q&A, bunch of things, translated, etc. Right? So we're not talking about all those right now. So we are interested in this one, language service, because that's what we want. That we want it to be analyzed, right? So if you want to see how this looks like, again, pretty simple as always. Here we're talking about custom questioning answer. Like for example, you want to make a Q&A maker. Here we're talking about this one. So this is what we need in this case. Okay, why? Because we're interested in basically custom text classification and custom. Basically, here we're interested. So we want to analyze the text and classify about it, right? So that's what we're interested in. As you can see, different kind of features it provides. So this is the first feature we are interested in, sentiment analysis, right? And for that, this is the one. This is for something else. This is for Q&A based, and this is not, out of these two, this is relevant to us, right? So once you click this, you will get a language service, right? So this is what it is look like, language service. So it is basically you got to create a task for this. So language service will come from here. So it is reading your text and kind of giving the sentiments, right? What is those sentiments? Basically, it's nothing but a score, and we'll talk about the score on the third one, right? So what is third one? Third one is, so now we connected to Twitter, we now read the text and we got some score, and now we're writing it, right? Because unless we write, how can we see that? Okay, so for that, again, there's a task that you can always get from by default. This also was the task, right? All those are tasks, right? So this task is basically it will whatever result will come from this one. This is just the kind of writing task you can say. So it is for each, basically it will loop the file rows, right? Because all those records coming as a row, so it will loop that, and it will. This is the Google sheet I have added, right? It can or we can take anything else. We can write in database, whatever, but it was the simplest one for the demo. So I took this one. So as you can see, I'm writing. So this again, all those connections is created for that. Again, I'll see how this looks like. So you can see tweeted by. So who tweeted? Basically ID and what was the text, who created it, and what is the confidence score. Okay, this is what we were interested in, right? That what is the confidence score? So confidence scores gives us the score for any any sentiment analysis, right? In ML AI world, we doesn't talk in 0 and 1 because those are like absolute perfect, and that doesn't exist in reality, right? Very idealistic. In reality, we work in the middle, right? Not like totally 0 or not like totally 1. So in most scenarios, that we will find confidence score is 80, maybe 90 if somebody has a great score, right? Even 75 is a decent score. So it is not about 100% to it. They are all estimation, right? AI is all about estimation. It's not a real. That's why it is AI. So it is always about, hey, what's the confidence level? How we can predict something, right, for future. So this gives us the score that, okay, I'm saying this tweet is have basically good or bad, and this is my score. Okay, so it doesn't talk in 0 or 1. So if the score is closer to the 1, you can sense that, hey, it is good. Okay, it's like a spread, right? It is like a range. So 0 means it has, it is terrible. Basically, it is like somebody is almost kind of very upset, right? 1 is super happy, and in reality, it comes in the middle that that is more realistic. So basically, scores are like between 0 and 1. So let's see how this looks like. So what I'll do is, I'll run this. Okay, it is running. And let's see, it takes few, yeah, it's run. So I'll refresh this. Okay, fine. So we can see just some tweets coming in, and see something is someone is excited and all. So see the score 8.89, closer to 1, right? It's treated by my key. There's a text, right? And there's a time. Okay, so I have taken, I think looks like it is giving maybe USD. I'm thinking, okay, or GMT. It is still showing noon. Okay, so this is the time, and this is a score, right? If somebody is not writing something good or bad, like basically neutral, then it will not, basically it will be closer to neutral, right? But either if somebody is kind of praising or like looking interested, like see you in a couple of minutes, means somebody is excited. So Logic App, or you can say before Logic App, even our Microsoft language service engine thinks that, hey, somebody's looking forward, means somebody is excited about it, right? So it gave a better score. Rather, somebody is just giving some information. So it's like in neutral, right? Neutral means close to the 0.5. Okay. So this is how this scores work. So what we were able to summarize, I think I was able to squeeze it, and I'll give time back to the without changing a lot of schedule. So let's summarize. So what we have done, we understood about what this why this why this Logic Apps is all about, right? Oh, what are different basically difference, whether it's Power Automate, what is the use case that we can think about, and in Twitter demo, what we have learned is that, hey, it's pretty easy to make it. We can take any different task that out there. In this case, I have taken Twitter, new Twitter, so I have created a connection here. Then I have created a connection to my language service, part of the cognitive services, and then I have a task here to write something, all those results into the file, and this file connection, right? So there are a bunch of connection here, and so you are able to integrate Twitter, Microsoft, Microsoft, you can say cognitive services, the kind of this part of AI custom, like by default built-in AI capability of Microsoft, right? And you are able to also integrate your file. So Twitter, Microsoft cognitive services, that is part of AI, and file, right? So three things are here kind of automated. So if somebody is posted, will post something, it will start, every 1 minute it will see, and it will start adding rows, right? So that's how this works. So we were able to achieve, what we wanted. So that's pretty much about, Twitter sentiment analysis. Any questions? I'm here.